Graham, one last question I have is, how do you actually measure in your organization the value of diversity? I can imagine that could be a little bit hard.
Very difficult, because it's a soft measure for me is the only way that you can do this. So we did discuss previously that you can have some hard measures about setting targets. But I think the only way to really work out if you're making progress on the cultural side, which we said is the key ingredient to getting the value out of it, is really softer testing around surveys, etc. Asking people, are you being heard? Do you feel you're an active participant? Do you get invited to the relevant meetings? All of those softer sort of subjective questions, and then analysing them, I think, is the way you have to do it. But of course, you may need to actually set up a bit more data around your employees, because from what I've seen looking at this previously, we tend to track things like age, sex, and tenure with the company, for example. But given that we're actually trying to embrace diversity and dare I say exploit diversity, we probably need to think of what are the other parameters that we do include, so we can actually measure and track those things. And then when it comes to those sorts of surveys, I think it's going to be something that you would probably do quite frequently, and I'd say every month or two, on an ongoing basis, because what you want to see is trends and identify, are we actually making progress? And then of course, when you get the results, going back to people and saying, the results said X, Y, Z, do you concur with that? What else do you think we could do? I think it's very much that style. Of course you can put individual targets in, because as we said, some of the things are just core interpersonal skills and team dynamic skills that people should build up anyway as part of being in a company. So thinking clearly about who are the people that I should have in this meeting. A lot of times people think of efficiency and getting fewer people in. That's great, but it depends on what sort of decision you're trying to make. Some decisions you may want to invite a lot more people in and get them to contribute. So I think having a much more conscious approach to how you structure meetings, teams, who you involve, how you involve them, those are things which you can actually train people to do better. And it could be training courses, but that can be part of their individual development programs as well. So I think there's quite a few levers that can be pulled, but it's not going to be, we're now at 95% value extraction from diversity.
It's not as simple as just doing that. Would you say that maybe a more qualitative approach to the survey could be helpful in?
Definitely.
Yeah. Instead of the quantity based one.
Exactly. Yeah. That's exactly what you need to do. And I think the other thing is, there are some companies in the world that regard themselves as being very, very good at diversity, and they have both the culture in place and it's not an afterthought in what they do as a company. It's sort of right at the top of their value set, and they drive it every day. And it's easy to sort of get information, because these companies are very proud to talk about what they're doing. So I think there's quite a few insights to get from them as well about how you might do it.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Okay, thank you again.